to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, I'm going to be doing a randomly generated hypnosis session based on various variables like location, nouns, and emotions, and a hypnotic language card. Part of the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to keep myself flexible, try different approaches, and to amplify the element that I have original hypnosis sessions. It's too easy for hypnotists to kind of fall into the same regular patterns. Some news that I wanted to share as well is that as of today, the podcast has hit over 200,000 downloads, and we are potentially on course to hit 250,000 downloads this month, which is mind-boggling to me. So thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing the episodes, because I do virtually no marketing for the podcast. So the growing audience has to be from you as the listeners, listening to something and then thinking of someone that you know that might benefit from that particular episode. So it's you guys that are sharing this. So I'm very grateful, very appreciative of that. I'm going to share my screen so those people watching on YouTube can then see the randomly generated things that are coming up. So the location that we're going to use as part of the induction is called Katoomba in Australia. It is known for natural attractions. There are, it looks like a waterfall, Wentworth Falls, Katoomba Falls, and Echo Point. So lots of nature. The largest and best known town in the Blue Mountains, around 100 kilometers west of Sydney. So we're gonna tap into some of the things going around there, perhaps waterfalls or maybe Echo Point. And this is a rock formation. So you've got the Three Sisters rock formation from this lookout. So we might use that as an element of the induction. The random word generators, these are three random nouns: liberal, link, and sentence. So when I think of liberal, you've got the political meaning of liberal, which is more to the left on the political spectrum, but also you've got this idea of a liberal portion is a generous portion. So it could be either of those meanings that we tap into things here. Link I think of as a chain or something that connects one thing with something else, which is really suitable, I think, when we're talking about psychology and the way that we think, because that's how neural pathways work. One neuron doesn't really mean too much, but when that neuron or that thought or behavior is linked to emotion, that creates a link, it creates a neural pathway. So we could use that. And sentence. Sentence, two meanings coming to mind to me. One is the grammatical form of words connected to form a sentence, and the other is more like a prison sentence. So a period of time that you perhaps pay as a penalty for some kind of crime. So again, we've got options to use different meanings there, and we're going to generate two random emotions: anger and contentment. Anger, normally an emotion that you feel when some rule is broken, could be a value that you hold, or a rule or something important to you that is not respected by other people. And contentment, which is normally a way of evaluating that generally you're happy in a certain area of your life. There isn't anything that you'd like to change. You're content, and contentment is the emotion of being content. So we've got some ingredients here really for this random hypnosis session. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see me shuffling the cards. Again, if you're watching on YouTube. And I'm going to shuffle one last time, cut the cards here. And this is the 3 of Diamonds from the Mike Mandel Hypnotic Language cards that you can get free if you visit their website. And 3 of Diamonds is the phrase, is there a part of you? I'm going to read the definition, the explanation. We all have different parts that we use for different purposes. We have parts to play with small animals, parts to hang out with friends, parts to watch TV. When we get a part's attention, we have access to its resources. And here's the example. Is there a part of you that wants to help you heal? Is there a part of you that can help you learn really quickly? And this really links to resource states or ego states, as Gordon Emerson explained. It's this kind of theory that we have 50 to 150 subpersonalities, different parts of our subconscious mind that have different functions. The example that I use to highlight, because it's difficult for, I think, to empathize or understand this idea that we have different parts living inside our head. But the voice that you use when you communicate to a baby or a small child is a different voice, different mannerisms than if you speak to a police officer or someone in authority. And effectively, at that point in time, we're a different version of ourselves. So there is a different part in control. Very useful to know that, because quite often what causes conflict between the actions that we want is when a part of us wants to do something and another part has a different intention or a different resource, and they're moving in different directions, and that creates this belief or feeling of self-sabotage. So we're going to touch on an element of parts work here, an ego state work, with this phrase, is there a part of you? I have my little sound timer here. We're going to estimate this to be about a 15 minutes worth of hypnosis. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, just get a feeling of releasing tension in your outward breath, enabling you to go deeper and deeper, relaxed. On the next inward breath in, again, feel that resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, if it's safe to do so, allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, notice how you can give more of your focused attention to the sound of my voice. Not just the words I say, but the meanings, the gaps in between the words, as you start to become more aware of any echoes of tension in your own body. So as you breathe in and breathe out, just get a sense that that tension, breath by breath, is leaving your body in your outward breath. As the tension leaves, your body becomes more relaxed, and as you become more relaxed, there is a part of you that knows how to get into the state of hypnosis. I'm communicating to that part, the part that can get lost in your own imagination, the part that likes to daydream, the part that just before you go to sleep starts thinking about the things that you want most in your life. As your body relaxes, that part takes more control. Listening to my words and being willing to go on a journey that can take your life into positive and empowering directions. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you can teleport to anywhere in the world. And I want you to imagine that you're going to teleport to a place in nature. A place in nature near the mountains in Australia. I want you to imagine that you're teleporting to Echo Point in Katoomba. Not too far away from the major city of Sydney, but far enough away that there is no sign of cities here. This is in the mountains. The mountains in Australia with blue skies. And I want you to imagine that there you are, standing at the Echo Point lookout. This is a place where you can see out onto the Blue Mountains. And there is a specific place there in the Blue Mountains called the Three Sisters. And from this lookout, these three sisters are three rock formations side by side. And I want you to get a sense that these rocks have been here for thousands and thousands of years, and you're just observing these rocks, these three sisters, right now. And sometimes when you look out at impressive scenery and surroundings, particularly in nature, we access what it is to feel awesome in the original meaning. Words evolve and change over time. But when you think about what inspires awe, it's normally impressive nature, canyons, waterfalls. And I want you to get a sense that as you look out to this range of mountains in Echo Point, your eyes defocus and you go inwards into your imagination. I want you to be liberal with your mind's ability to access those resourceful emotions. When you've had a portion of food, sometimes you've had a small, measly portion, and sometimes you've given a liberal portion, a large portion of perhaps a topping, something that is delicious for you. And I want you to be liberal with the size of portions of these powerful, positive, resourceful states. As you look into the three sister rock formations and you drift off in your own imagination, I want you to now teleport to a different part of Katoomba, to one of the many waterfalls there. Perhaps you're going to Katoomba Falls. I want you to get a sense that here at Katoomba Falls, you're able to enjoy seeing this impressive waterfall. Water going over rocks. And I want you to get a sense that there is something hypnotic about the way that the water trickles down to almost like a stream below. I want you to imagine paddling in that stream, seeing the waterfall, and experiencing an overwhelming feeling of contentment. There is so much in your life to be grateful for. And although you might be listening to my voice to create some kind of change, you don't want to change everything. I want you to evaluate your life and think of so many things that you're absolutely happy with. There will be friendships, relationships, qualities that you have that you wouldn't want to change. And therefore, as you paddle in that stream, looking up at that waterfall, feel that as the water goes over you, it represents the feeling of contentment washing over you. So you feel that sense of contentment all the way from the top of your head, all the way down to the tip of your toes. And I want you to link that feeling of contentment to a sense of desire to make the changes necessary so those things that you're not content with can one day in the future be something that when you think about it, you're then happy with the status of that part of your life. I want you to evaluate a phrase that may create an emotional reaction to you. That whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. And although the majority of your life you're feeling content with, you're happy with, there will be some areas of your life, therefore, that you're not content with. And you can choose to settle and just accept that there are things that you are not happy with, or you can choose to make a change. You can choose to make a change, or you can choose to keep things as they are. But if you do nothing, then by definition, you're choosing to keep things as they are. And there is a part of you that desperately wants to make a change. But perhaps there's another part that feels that change is risky and change is uncomfortable. And there may be truth to that. But change will happen anyway. So better to change from a place of intention. As you stand there looking up at the waterfall, I want you to choose a single area of your life that you want to change. But I want you to think of it in this way, that if you chose to keep this area of your life exactly as it was, even though you accept that you're not happy with this area of your life, that would you be voluntarily accepting a prison sentence? You're voluntarily allowing your future, for as long as you don't make that change, to give you a feeling that is less than content. I want you to imagine how you would feel if you were put in jail, serving a prison sentence for 10 years for a crime that you did not commit. Would that not make you feel anger at the injustice of you paying a price for something that you didn't do? Imagine 10 years from now and not changing the most important area of your life that you would want to change. Does that not also provoke a sense of anger? I want you to get a sense that the anger goes away the moment you decide to make that change in that area of your life that you're not content with. Anger can serve you if it creates a feeling of motivation to make a difference. If someone stole something from you, you might feel the anger, and that would motivate you to get that thing back or to find justice for the crime. But isn't it also a crime to know there is an area of your life that you want to change and then choose not to change it? Anger is useful in small doses if it provokes a feeling of this is not acceptable. And that part of you that is not willing to settle, that part of you that is not willing to serve a sentence for a crime that you didn't commit, to live perhaps years knowing there is a change you want to make and then choosing not to make it, allow that part to open up the resources required to make a decision. And when you make the decision that you will make that change, that will link through to the resourceful feelings required to enable progress to be made in that area where the change is. And this isn't a small, measly amount of resources to make that change. This is a liberal portion to make that change, to enable you to unlock the resources required to decide to make the change and then do what's necessary to maintain that higher standard. And then imagine going forward in time until that area of your life has changed and you're now living life with that change already made. Step into that feeling of contentment that you will feel when this area of your life is now as you want it to be. Experience that feeling of contentment, and the part of you responsible for making that change now feels even more motivated because it's had a glimpse of the future where this change has been resolved to the level that it needs to change to. Thank that part for letting you know what that change is, and thank that part for giving you the resources required to make that change. But accept also that very soon when your eyes open, this then will create a feeling of temporary discomfort until you start making progress towards that change. Discomfort is good if it spurs you into action. And now it's time to leave the waterfalls, to leave Katoomba, to teleport back in your own body, listening to my voice firmly in the present. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Get a sense that you're in your own physical body right now. And very soon, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, but you will awaken with the resources, with the drive, with the motivation to change the most important area of your life that you are currently not content with. Allow that anger at the injustice of choosing not to make a change to fuel you to actually make that change, starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.